Good morning and welcome to Studio 5 going live day 19. Crikey, that many already, of the Studio 5 going live online exhibition. I was asked in a personal sort of message thing on one of the media sites which I sort of frequent why I was doing an online exhibition. Well, the simple answer is I had planned for a venued exhibition for this time of year, and of course that had to be shelved. That's a bookbinder's joke there. Waits for the applause, none comes. Anyway, moving on. And so I thought that I would be able to sort of, instead of you not being able to see anything and me getting frustrated, do something online. And this is it. I generally show one or two books a day. And today we're going to be looking at two books. The first book we're going to be looking at is Plan B. And this is the box for Plan B, and I actually think that the box, and this is the box, 2-tray drop back box, is quite important because it sets the tone of what's going to be inside. And also if one has the work on a shelf in the box, it protects it and also gives the owner some idea of what is in the box, or indeed a visitor to the library or the collection. The second book we're going to be looking at, Cunningly Hidden, did you see that? I hid that. It's good, that is Exotic Tours, and this is again the 2-tray drop back box for Exotic Tours. And Exotic Tours deals with the lack of memory or lost memory of exhibitions and various events that one goes to, and how we nowadays, not maybe all of us, but a lot of us who visit exhibitions always seem to be taking selfies with ourself, and this is the cult of self, I suppose, in front of the Van Dyke or the Vermeer or whatever it is. Anyway, we're going to be looking first of all at Plan B. Now Plan B, and I'll just get it out of the box and everything else for you, is a look at a personal voice, if you like, and this is what I was alluding to before about the voice of the artist's book. And there we can open that up and we can take out our Plan B. Is a look at how various impulses or aspects of life appear, and sometimes how logic disappears, and how we relate to fear, hatred, jealousy, trust, and a perceived sort of self-worth, and perhaps a look at protagonists and victims. Not all artist books are full of dandelions and nice pictures of the Lake District and kittens. And I think that with the artist book, you can actually have, you can make a comment, you can make things happen. Anyway, the technical stuff for Plan B is 28 centimeters high by 19.1 centimeters wide with a depth of 8 millimeters. It's a modified flat back case binding with laminated drum leaf text block with a full linen attachment. The binding itself is in full cloth, so animal friendly, is in full cloth, which has been hand printed, stencil work with collage work on it. And there's a number of different techniques, and these techniques flow through the book. We can see the title just down here. Get my little arrow just there, and perhaps if I am able to get in a sort of a tighter view. It was working when I was practicing it earlier. There we go. Be able to see the various textures and the way that the title has been collaged on. And again, well, using photocopies, all sorts of stuff that you have in your studio to create. Artist book isn't just, about fine press printing and that sort of thing. It can be about other stuff as well, and using different techniques to achieve the desired result. Though I do work predominantly with drum leaf for this sort of binding, I do have artist books which do explore different construction techniques and different ways of working with the book, as hopefully we will see later on. Anyway, the text again goes into how logic disappears and how there is a nightmare in reality, and reality can be a nightmare for some of us. The text block is rather simple. And is image led, I suppose, with the text just adding a little bit to it. And so if I can open this up and you'll be able to see, and hopefully there'll be no blips today. We deal with fear. We deal with chaos and jealousy, trust and differences. And finally, self-worth. And, you know, basically it's up to us, the individuals, to make the most of what we have. The binding itself, as I say, was relatively straightforward to do. The techniques used are not complicated, but it's how one layers up the various techniques and the various mediums to produce the finished image. Okay, next we're going to be looking at exotic tours. And if we just have a look at the box before we go into the binding, you'll be able to see what I mean about the box being an extension of the text block, and that it's not only for protection. And so you can actually extend your format with the box. Again, it's a really nice way of working, I think, anyway. So, Exotic Tools, the book. The nice thing about the drum leaf construction is you can actually have a number of different spreads, and the construction is relatively straightforward. And I think we can see from the binding, again, it's full cloth again, you know, sort of animal friendly. And the measurements for Exotic Tools are 19.1 centimetres high by 20.7 by 1 centimetre. And again, these measurements I give are with the book closed. Again, we're looking at various aspects of collage work, a little bit of hand printing, roller work on there, and we can see the shadow of where images have been lost, where we've, you know, our memory has gone, and also how one image is surpassed or supplanted, worked over with another image. And, you know, there was a recent survey done of how long people actually look at paintings in galleries, and it was not minutes, it was seconds, which I find quite unbelievable. So there we have it. And again, a very visual texture happening. So I'll literally just try and get this to work. You can see the texture, the spray on there. And I use, you know, sort of atomizers, all sorts of things to get these particular textures. Don't necessarily use spray cans all the time. And again, as we go into the text block, we start Exotic Tours. There are different aspects happening. There are different ways of working and how we perceive this. So once again, very quickly, just going through the spreads and how, you know, we flip through, and again we have more shadows of lost imagery. And it's also about the cult of self, and, you know, how perhaps, you know, the painting or the artwork that we see is not as important as the person in front of the selfie. You know, it's that sort of cult of the selfie, or I should say the anti-cult. Anyway, I think it's yeah, that's the last spread. So basically, I think that I hope you've enjoyed this, and perhaps it's having me giving you the voiceover being for you to actually know where the designs have come from, the inspiration behind them and the rationale behind them is perhaps better in the voice of the maker. And you occasionally get to see the hands of the maker as well, instead of sometimes dry text in a catalogue. Anyway, thank you all very, very much indeed. And once again, if you are interested in any of the work or want any more information, please do get in touch with me. Information and further shots are always available on my blog site, and details on the link for that will be following, as indeed the link for the National Art Library to the Victoria and Albert Museum. Let's be safe out there. Even though things may be beginning to loosen up, use your common sense, wear protection, keep those hands clean, and I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. And this was Studio 5, and we were live. Thank you very much indeed.